Welcome to the session on water-related disease. Myself, Dr. Thara Chandran, Senior Lecturer, Department of Public Health Dentistry, A.B. Shetty Memorial Institute of Dental Science. Safe and readily available water is important for public health. Every year, almost 40% of children are hospitalized due to diarrhea and other waterborne diseases. And if children are chronically infected with such diseases, they are progressively malnourished and there will be stunting of growth. In the case of adults, water-related diseases can lead to absenteeism from workplaces. All this can badly hit the economy of a country and lead to poverty. So, provision of good quality, safe drinking water in adequate amounts is essential to boost a country's economic growth and it contributes greatly to poverty reduction. Sustainable Development Goal Target 6.1 calls for universal and equitable access to safe and affordable drinking water. In this session, we'll see what are the different kinds of water-related disease and see a few examples. One classification categorizes the water-related disease as waterborne disease, which are caused by the consumption of contaminated drinking water, water-wash disease due to the lack of proper sanitation and hygiene, water-based disease, which are caused by an aquatic invertebrate organism, and water-related vector-borne disease that are propagated by insects that breed on water. Another method of classification broadly categorizes it as biological and chemical based on the agents that cause the disease. So, under biological, we have viral, bacterial, protozoal, and helminthic and leptospiral disease. Under viral, we have hepatitis A, E, poliomyelitis, and rotavirus diarrhea, to name a few. Most of these diseases can be prevented by vaccine, not all, and by keeping a proper hand hygiene and by consuming safe water, most of them can be prevented. Hepatitis A is generally a vaccine controllable disease. Poliomyelitis is caused by another virus, and even though polio is eradicated in most of the places, a single case of polio can lead to another cluster of disease. Rotavirus diarrhea, which is very common in infants and can attack adults also, but in a milder form. It is also a vaccine preventable disease. It is noted that by about 5 years, almost all the children are affected by rotavirus. Coming to bacterial disease, we have typhoid and paratyphoid disease, which are spread by Salmonella typhi and paratyphi. Bacillary dysentery, E. coli diarrhea, and cholera, which is spread by Vibrio cholerae, are another few diseases. Protozoal, under that we have amoebiasis, spread by Entamoeba histolytica, that is, if we consume water which is infected by entamoeba, we can get this amoebiasis. Another one is giardiasis. Helminthic is spread by worms like roundworm, threadworm, hydatid disease. Leptospiral, we have Wales disease. This is caused when we consume water infected by the germs, and this is spread by the urine or feces of can be pigs or rodents or cows. Coming to the chemical agents that cause water-related disease, there are a broad range of chemicals that are normally present in water, but when the usual amount is exceeded, we have water-related disease due to chemicals. Chemicals can be present in water by natural sources like from rocks, or maybe due to man-made sources like agricultural runoff, which includes insecticides, pesticides, fertilizers, or can be due to some industrial waste. So these are all contributing to the chemicals. So few of them are detergent solvents caused by manual inhabitation, cyanides, heavy metals like zinc, mercury, arsenic, etc. You are all very much familiar with the Minamata disease in Japan, which is caused due to the release of methyl mercury into the Minamata Bay. So fishes consume this mercury, and finally it ended up in humans when they consume the fish, and that has led to both neurological and other problems in many generations. The next is minerals and organic acids, dyes and pigments, ammonia and nitrogenous substance. These are normally present, ammonia, by the biodegradation of base, but when the level is exceeded, it can be a health hazard. Coming to organic compounds, It can be either volatile organic compounds or other compounds. Example is endosulfan poisoning, which was sprayed in cashew plantations as an aerosol spray, but later when it entered the soil and water sources, the effect was very bad. It had affected generations. There were paralysis of patients and even congenital malformations. The effect due to chemicals can be direct or indirect effects. Direct effects are caused when you directly consume the water with chemicals. Indirect effects when you consume the fish or maybe mollusks which are already laden with these chemicals. Most of the times, the effect of chemicals are long-term exposure effects rather than acute effects due to the accumulation of chemicals over a long period of time. Often chemical disease, a chemical related water related disease is seen in developing countries or developed countries as a result of industrialization. Now we'll see waterborne disease, which are mentioned in the previous slides. This, as I told you, is when we consume contaminated water or fruits or vegetables which are not washed properly but infected with these germs. Human and animal waste can enter and contaminate water supplies if the sanitation is not proper. For example, if there is a toilet and the source of collection of water is very close to it, there are high chances that the water can be contaminated with human feces. Hepatitis A, E, cholera, rotavirus, typhoid, paratyphoid, poliomyelitis, amoebiasis, and leptospirosis are few of the waterborne diseases which are found in India. So this includes both bacterial, viral, and leptospiral disease. Next is water-wash disease. This is often caused because of improper sanitation or hygiene or due to scarcity of water. People can't perform proper sanitation because the availability of water is less. Few of the examples are Shigella, scabies, trachoma, yaws, conjunctivitis, leprosy, and skin infections. If I take trachoma as an example, it is a bacterial infection that can affect both eyes of an individual or maybe a single eye. It is often considered as one of the cause for preventable blindness in humans. So it's often spread when people share their towels or other substances, and also flies can transmit the disease when they visit the eyes or face of an infected person and fly away and affect another and sit on another person's face or body part. It can affect the disease. So what can be done is maintaining proper hygiene, like the infected person has to wash his eyes and face regularly so that they don't act as a site for flies to come and sit. Another way we can prevent this is by preventing the breeding sites of flies by creating a neat surrounding and environment. For that, we require again adequate amount of water. Coming to water-based disease, these are transmitted by aquatic organisms such as worms. These worms, it can penetrate the human skin while cleaning or bathing or maybe while swimming or other recreational activities. Few examples are schistosomiasis and guinea worm disease. We'll see how schistosomiasis is spread to a human being. Suppose an infected human passes his urine or feces into a source of water, then the eggs are laid in the water. Now the eggs hatch and they infect another organism or another intermediate host. So in this case it is freshwater snails, and they grow up and pass into the Cercaria stage in the snails. After a few days, this Cercaria will be released into the water from the snails, and this Cercaria is what infects a human being again when a person is either swimming or playing or maybe taking bath in the water. It penetrates the skin of the human being, and in the human being it matures and can mate with another worm and lays a large number of eggs. A part of it is excreted through the urine or feces, and a part of it remains inside the body. So the cycle continues again. So how can we control this disease? By proper sanitation. Instead of defecating or urinating in this water source, there should be proper toilet facilities, and the water we use should be properly filtered and purified. water-related vector-borne disease. These are season-specific and depends on temperature also. Now, in rainy season, there is high prevalence of such vector-borne disease. These are spread by vectors like mosquitoes or different types of flies. So, these vectors can either breed in fresh water or dirty water or stagnant water, depending on the type of mosquitoes. So, few examples are malaria, filariasis, yellow fever, dengue, Zika virus, etc. So we have to see that the environment we live is free of any breeding sites. To summarize, waterborne diseases can be controlled by a coordinated efforts of healthcare sector, water supply department, sewerage department, enforcement department, and sanitation wing. And this is very much needed for the economic growth of a country. These are my references. Thank you.